They have toppled democratic governments. They have experimented on innocent citizens with LSD. They have armed rebels, hunted terrorists, and shaped the geopolitical map of the modern world. They are the state within a state. The invisible hand of American power, from the jungles of Vietnam to the deserts of the Middle East, and from the secret prisons in Europe to the digital battlefields of the 21st century. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is the documented record of the Central Intelligence Agency. For the next 40 minutes, we are opening the Jewels file. We will walk through every decade, every major operation, and every scandal. Welcome to the American Digital Library. This is the entire history of the CIA. To understand the CIA, we must first understand the chaos of World War II. America before 1941. Scattered and uncoordinated intelligence offices, old maps, typewriters, piles of documents, agents working separately with no central spy agency, dark, vintage, 1930s atmosphere, ultra-realistic cinematic. Intelligence was a mess, split between the Army, the Navy, and the State Department. They didn't talk to each other. The result of this blindness was Pearl Harbor. Desperate to catch up, President Franklin D. Roosevelt created the OSSD Office of Strategic Services. He placed it under the command of William Wild Bill Donovan. Donovan was a maverick. He hired bank robbers, safecrackers, and Ivy League intellectuals. The OSS was lawless, brave, and effective. Nighttime World War II battlefield. Paratroopers descending from the sky with open parachutes. Nazi-occupied territory below. A railway bridge exploding with flames and debris. Broken tracks, damaged infrastructure. Thick smoke rising into the dark sky. Dramatic lighting, ultra-realistic, gritty war atmosphere. But when the war ended in 1945, President Harry Truman dissolved the OSS. He famously said he didn't want to create an American Gestapo. He was wrong. The world had changed. The Soviet Union was rising, and the Cold War was beginning. America needed eyes in the dark. So, on September 18, 1947, the National Security Act was signed. The OSS was dead. The Central Intelligence Agency was born. Its mission was simple. No police powers, no domestic spying, just foreign intelligence gathering. But that rule would be broken almost immediately. The CIA's first major test wasn't a war with guns. It was an election. In 1948, Italy was on the brink of collapse. The Italian Communist Party was surging in popularity. Washington was terrified. If Italy fell to communism, the rest of Europe might follow. The CIA was given a secret order. Ensure the communists lose by any means necessary. This was the birth of covert action. Agents arrived in Rome with bags full of cash, millions of dollars. They bribed editors to write pro-American articles. They funded the Christian Democrat Party. They even forged letters from Italian Americans, urging their families back home not to vote red. The operation was massive, illegal, and successful. The communists were defeated. The CIA learned a dangerous lesson that day. Democracy could be bought, and if they could do it in Italy, they could do it anywhere. 5 years later, the agency turned its eyes to the Middle East. Iran had a democratically elected prime minister, Mohammad Mossadegh. He was a nationalist who committed a cardinal sin in the eyes of the West. He nationalized the Iranian oil industry, kicking out the British oil companies. The British begged the US for help. President Eisenhower gave the green light. The CIA sent one of their best operatives, Kermit Roosevelt, the grandson of Teddy Roosevelt, to Tehran with a suitcase of money and a plan called Operation Ajax. The plan was chaos. The CIA hired street thugs and mobsters to stage violent protests. They bombed the houses of religious leaders and blamed it on Mossadegh. They bribed military generals. Tehran burned. Mossadegh was arrested, and the pro-American monarch, the Shah, was placed back on the throne. Western oil flowed again. The CIA celebrated, but they did unrealize they had planted the seeds of hatred that would explode. 25 years later, in the Iranian Revolution, empowered by their success in Iran, the CIA looked south to Guatemala. The target was President Jacobo Arbenz. His crime: Landreform. Arbenz wanted to buy uncultivated land and give it to poor farmers. The problem was, the land belonged to the United Fruit Company, a powerful American corporation with deep ties to Washington. The United Fruit Company cried communism, and the CIA answered. This time, they launched Operation Ajax. The CIA didn't just use bribes. They used psychological warfare. They set up a fake radio station, broadcasting reports of a massive rebel invasion that didn't exist. They jammed government communications. They hired pilots to drop blocks of dynamite on the capital city to create loud noises, simulating a bombing run. Panic spread. The Guatemalan army, thinking they were facing a massive U.S. invasion, turned on President Arbenz, resigned and fled. A military dictatorship took over. The United Fruit Company got their land back. In the halls of Langley, the CIA felt invincible. They could topple governments without sending a single Marine. But while they were changing the world outside, a darker experiment was starting inside America. In the early 1950s, the CIA became obsessed with a terrifying question. Could the Soviets control the human mind? Reports from the Korean War suggested that American prisoners were being brainwashed. The CIA decided they needed to master this technology first. They appointed a chemist named Sidney Gottlieb to run the most notorious program in agency history, Project Ma. Gottlieb was given a license to kill. His goal was to find a drug that could shatter the human psyche and rebuild it. He chose LSD. The CIA began testing the drug on everyone: prisoners, mental patients, drug addicts, and even their own employees. Often, without consent, they set up safe houses in San Francisco and New York, hired prostitutes to lure men in, dosed their drinks with LSD, and watched them through two-way mirrors. This was Operation Midnight Climax, but the experiments turned deadly. In 1953, Frank Olson, a CIA scientist, was secretly dosed with LSD by Gottlieb during a retreat. Days later, suffering from a massive psychotic break, Olson Feller was pushed from the window of a hotel in New York City. The CIA covered it up for decades. MKUltra was just getting started, and the moral compass of the agency was completely broken. To be continued in Part 2.